Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is 11 Asian Dragon here, and today I'm bringing you another gameplay commentary. And so today what I wanted to talk about is my review and thoughts and opinions on the new Amazing Spider-Man. Now, if you guys haven't seen this movie, I would highly recommend you go see it right away because it's a really great addition to this new Spider-Man series, and the new remake looks extremely promising, so go check it out right away. And now what I want to say first off is that this will be a spoiler-free commentary. I'll just go over what I think they did right compared to the old Spider-Mans and what some of the flaws I think this new Spider-Man does have. So let's get right into it. So as you guys probably already know, Peter Parker, the high school genius, goes into a laboratory one day and gets bitten by a cross-genetic species spider, which turns him into Spider-Man. Now, the antagonist of the story, instead of the Green Goblin, is the Lizard, which is played by who is transformed from Dr. Curtis Connors, who is impaired physically because he only has one arm, and so his motive is to basically create a formula in which he can regenerate his limb, similar to that of lizards, which can regenerate their tails if they're bitten off or if they fall off. And so he believes that if he turns everyone into sort of a cross-genetic species of humans and lizards, they will become more physically, mentally, and emotionally more powerful, and basically evolution will be almost at its peak. So Spider-Man has to stop him from turning everyone into lizards, essentially. So I think what they did right in this is by giving more background on Peter Parker's story, because in the very beginning, in the original series, they didn't really talk about Peter Parker's parents, or we really didn't get to see much of his aunt and uncle. But in this story, a lot of it revolves around how he becomes the Spider-Man, what his feelings are with his parents, with his uncles, and in that way you get really attached to them, and you can sort of see what the characters are feeling, much more so than the original movies, which I think is really great. Now, another thing is his relationship with his girlfriend, who is now Gwen and not Mary Jane Watson. And I think the development of this more modern society, and what I would say is what we would do at school, or at least what if you're in school, this development of a relationship between Parker and Gwen is more realistic, and I think at that point the movie does a really good job in showing what sort of like a nerd would do to try to fall for this really beautiful girl. So I think that was really great. And with that being said, I think they did a really good job on the emotional piece in terms of getting attached to characters, what the characters are feeling, sort of like that, rather than just sort of putting it out there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, sort of similar to that of like the old movie, where they sort of just show you a glimpse and a little bit of their family, but not really any character development within the actual like uncle or that much of Mary Jane. She's sort of jumping around in the old, while Gwen is, I guess, very solid in a way. So I think they did a really good job in that sense. Now, what I also think they did is artistically they did a really good job, because in this movie you'll see some scenes in first person. You'll see him twirling around or climbing up walls, and I think that's a really good change from the typical third person view. It looks really nice, and the New York City seems more refined than the old ones, which makes sense because the old one is 9 years ago, so I think they have more technology, so it looks really nice. Now, also, I think overall what they did right is making the story more realistic, because in the old ones I never really understood how the Green Goblin sort of took over Osborn or whatever, and so he basically had like a dual personality, and I didn't really understand that. They never really fully explained it in the old series, but in this series it seems like the antagonist has more of a realistic goal, because he wants to help himself, he wants to help other people who are physically impaired as well as he is, and as a result he wants to help people, but it's not the same way. as what, like Peter Parker or Spider-Man thinks of helping as, which is why he wants to stop Dr. Curtis Connors. Now, I think this is really good because you can sort of understand why the antagonist is doing what he's doing, rather than blatantly just giving him like a superpower sort of, and just making him bad. I don't really understand that in the old series, so I think they did a really good job. Now, I think one flaw that is both in the old series and in the new series, which I never really liked, is that when Peter Parker is in the Spider-Man suit, he doesn't change his voice. And I don't really understand that, because most people, you can tell by their voice who they are, or at least estimate what they are, or who they are. So, like, similar to Batman, or the Dark Knight series, he changes his voice. Christian Bale changes his voice, or Bruce Wayne changes his voice when he goes into the Batman suit to a more deeper and raspier voice to sort of hide his identity. And in this story, in this movie actually, he doesn't change his voice at all. And personally for me, it seems still a little childish in a way. And I hope that they can fix that. Like, I want them to change the voice a little bit, so that it conceals who he really is, rather than giving him the same voice. But otherwise, I think overall, the movie on a scale of 1 to 10 would probably be around like 8.5 or 9. That's how good it really is. They did the action scenes really well. Everything is really solid. It was just a overall really, really solid movie. So if you guys haven't watched it, go watch it right away. If you've enjoyed this commentary, thank you so much, and please give it a like rating, and have a good day.